With the warmer weather comes more time being spent outside, getting the daylight, spending times by the beach, the pool, the backyard, the front yard, or anything else. But for me, what it means is time for reading. I like to throw on my cardigan, open a good book, and really jump into the words. Today I'm recommending the top 5 business books I would recommend reading for the summer of 2021. All these books are relatively new, being released in 2019 or later, and being really topical to what is going on in today's ecosystem. Not only are these books educational, both helping me on a personal sense and a business sense, but also they're genuinely entertaining. Just because a book may provide knowledge doesn't mean you'll read it on your free time. So all these books I'm recommending I have found genuinely interesting. The first book I'd recommend is Deep Medicine by Eric Topol. This book truly is one of a kind. They not only connect AI within the medical field, but they really speak to how the technology, AI in general, can benefit all aspects of the healthcare system. Eric himself is a doctor, so he has much experience working with patients, so it's not an outsider looking in. You're really getting an inside perspective into the field itself. What's really interesting about this book is that they speak about how AI can actually allow more humans in the medical field, or more human time spent between each patient. Over the years, human interactions between doctors and patients has become shorter and shorter. And this could lead to a lot of individuals feeling that the quality of care is not the same. Eric believes, and along with many of his colleagues and many of the individuals in the industry believe, once AI can take away most of the manual work, doctors, physicians, radiologists, mental health professionals can spend more time with their patients to not only get higher quality of care, but increase the quality of interactions. If you are a medical student or interested in medicine, I would highly recommend this book. Or if you're even interested in AI, I felt that this gave a realistic aspect of the changes AI can make from a non-AI lens. The next book has by far the most entertaining title, and that is Think Like a Rocket Scientist. Ozan, the author, himself was a rocket scientist, so has many examples of his day-to-day work and how it applies to a different type of thinking. And what this book goes over is something called Moonshot Thinking. How to really think above and beyond, be creative to develop that new business, develop that new product, get that dream job, or even better oneself by developing a new skill. This book has 9 chapters and really goes through many different ways you yourself can better prepare, think, and work through a way to really have a skill of moonshot thinking, to do the unstoppable, to do the impossible, to go farther. I'd highly recommend this book, not just to rocket scientists. Well, if you're reading this, it'd probably be good if you're a rocket scientist, but in general, to anyone who's looking to have a different way of thinking or increase creativity. Having run a few brainstorming sessions in the past, I found this book very applicable for breaking down the barriers that tend to happen when you're trying to think of a new iteration, a new invention within an organization. I feel this book has a lot of takeaways for any individual trying to increase creativity in one's life or in their business. The next book I'd recommend is Upstream by Heath. Now, this book really covers a variety of problems or issues that can really be solved by moving up the funnel. So a lot of times, including myself, you spend a lot of times putting out fires, doing the day-to-day tasks to fix recurring problems, but really being blind to why these problems are being caused. Within this book, he goes over many aspects of where thinking upstream has saved many lives, saved them much time, but also some of the challenges that come with it. A lot of money is spent on fixing problems and very little spent on prevention. And that's mostly due to the fact that you don't see what doesn't go wrong. Similar in the cybersecurity world or any security world where you only see there's an issue when an issue happens, but you rarely times see how your preventative skills or your preventative measures are really preventing. This book really goes through how you can better prepare an organization, better prepare yourself to really focus more on these upstream issues or problems, but also how to allocate value to them much more. They talk a lot about how a lot of times prevention isn't seen as valuable, but at the end of the day, the ROI is much higher on it. I'd highly recommend this book for any professional who maybe works in a process role, engineering role, or really any role in general, or even in the sales role. Any role in general where you're constantly working with individuals or working on a lot of different processes, networks, or in any systems. Highly recommend this book. It's a pretty quick read and has really opened my eyes to different ways I can solve problems in my day-to-day life. The next book I'd recommend is The Hype Machine by Varol. Now, when you think of social media, there tend to be really two different camps. One view is that it's the end of the world, it's ruining everyone's life, and the other view is that it's the great equalizer. This allows everyone in the world to communicate. This book, I feel, has a very realistic middle ground. Not only are they talking about the benefits of social media, but they also bring up a lot of risks that are not really well talked about today. Sinan goes over himself being a professor within this field, being one of the most thought leaders around the hype machine, which is social media. But it really goes around how you can be a better steward of social media and how you can use it in a more effective way. Ever since COVID, more and more organizations have been moving online to really see the benefits of what data can do for marketing, for using consumer psychology. They even talk over how social media has affected the elections. This book really gives you an eye-opening view, not only if you are a marketer yourself, on some of the things you as your organization should be wary of or conscious of, but also as any individual who spends most of their time online, how you can be more aware of what organizations are doing with your data, with how you react to it, and most importantly, how you can better protect yourself going forward in the future. Highly recommend this book, and I think in the future, more and more people will really take a lot of the learnings from this book and apply it to organizations and to life. If you're a marketer yourself, if you're within any type of social media business, or if you're even curious onto the impacts of what the hype machine can do, the next book I'd recommend is Ride of a Lifetime by Bob Iger. You may not know what company he works for, but you for sure know their products. Your children might know their products, and many generations for sure will know the impact he has made. He was CEO of Disney for many years, and typically I am not a fan of biographies. I don't find them interesting. I find them dry and very boastful, a little bit too much about bragging. This book is nothing like that. For being one of the most successful CEOs of all time, he really goes through how he got to where he is today, being very humble along the way, but most importantly, gives really 4 key skills or 4 key attributes it really takes in leadership, that being optimism, courage, decisiveness, and fairness, and goes through how these skills have helped him get to the roles he had throughout his career, through the successes and the failures. I'd highly recommend this book for anyone, even people who are not interested in business, because it really gives you a look into the mindset of a high-functioning CEO, but most importantly, into a life of one of the most successful people. I'd highly recommend this book for any entrepreneurs, any business people, or if you like biographies, this is the best one I have ever read. So highly recommend it. So those are the books I'd recommend for you all to read for the summer of 2021. Each of them has their strengths and their weaknesses, but at the end of the day, all of them are entertaining, all of them are insightful, and all of them I felt have given me a more beneficial view of the world around me. If you have any books you think I should read, drop it down in the comments, and hopefully you guys enjoy more of these videos.